While the world sleeps peacefully, hundreds of fishing boats leave Australia's coastline and disappear into the darkness. Their destination is unknown to most people. Their mission is simple, but incredibly dangerous. They're chasing one of the ocean's most valuable treasures: wild shrimp. Every trip is a gamble. One night can bring thousands of kilograms of shrimp and a huge payday. The next night, the same crew may return with almost empty nets after spending thousands on fuel. But money isn't the biggest challenge. These fishermen spend up to 16 hours working without proper rest. They battle freezing temperatures, towering waves, heavy machinery, and constant exhaustion. One mistake can destroy expensive equipment or cost someone their life. Yet every season, they return to the sea again. Why would anyone willingly choose such a brutal profession? How are thousands of tons of shrimp actually caught? And what happens on board after the nets come back full? Today, we're stepping inside Australia's shrimp fishing industry to reveal the dangerous process that brings shrimp from the deep ocean to dinner tables around the world. Long before a fishing boat touches the water, the real work has already begun. Every season, marine scientists survey Australia's coastal waters, studying shrimp populations and mapping the healthiest fishing grounds. Their research helps determine where fishing is allowed and where nature must be left undisturbed to recover. This careful balance protects shrimp stocks for future generations while keeping the industry alive. Once the approved fishing zones are announced, captains begin planning their voyage. They study weather forecasts, ocean currents, tide charts, fuel requirements, and crew schedules. Every decision matters. A wrong location can waste thousands of dollars in fuel. But even with years of experience, there is one force no captain can control: the moon. On dark nights when the ocean is almost completely black, shrimp leave the seabed to search for food. These are the nights every fisherman waits for. During bright, moonlit nights, shrimp stay hidden near the bottom, making them far more difficult to catch. That is why timing is just as important as skill. When everything is finally ready, engines roar to life. The ropes are untied. The harbor slowly disappears behind the boat. Ahead lies nothing but open ocean and another dangerous journey into the unknown. After hours of sailing, the captain finally reaches the selected fishing grounds. The sea may look calm from a distance, but everyone on board knows that the hardest part is about to begin. Massive steel arms slowly swing outward from both sides of the vessel. Heavy cables tighten as giant trawl nets, weighing several tons, are carefully lowered into the dark ocean. Every crew member has a specific role. One controls the powerful winches. Another monitors the cables. Others watch every movement of the nets, making sure nothing becomes tangled. There is no room for mistakes. A single loose cable or one wrong command can damage the equipment, destroy the nets, or seriously injure a crew member. As the boat moves steadily across the water, the enormous nets spread wide behind it, sweeping across the seabed. For nearly an hour, the vessel continues its slow journey through the fishing grounds. Above the surface, everything seems quiet. But deep below, thousands of shrimp are being guided toward the end of the net. No one knows what is waiting inside. Will this be the catch that makes the trip successful? Or will the crew haul up another nearly empty net? Only when the winches begin pulling the nets back to the surface will they discover the answer. With the giant trawl nets now deep beneath the ocean, an uneasy silence settles over the vessel. For the next 45 to 60 minutes, there is little the crew can do except monitor the equipment and wait. This is often the most stressful part of the journey. No one knows what is happening hundreds of feet below the surface. The nets could be filling with thousands of shrimp, or they could be dragging through an area with almost nothing at all. Sometimes the nets become clogged with seaweed or debris. At other times, rough seabeds can tear the mesh, allowing the catch to escape before it ever reaches the boat. The captain constantly watches the vessel's instruments, checking water depth, towing speed, and the tension on the cables. Years of experience help him rid the ocean, but the sea never guarantees success. Every minute feels longer than the last. Finally, the captain gives the signal. It's time to haul the nets. Powerful hydraulic winches begin pulling the heavy cables back toward the surface. The entire crew gathers on deck. In just a few moments, they will discover whether the last hour of work was worth the effort. With the giant trawl nets now deep beneath the ocean, an uneasy silence settles over the vessel. For the next 45 to 60 minutes, there's little the crew can do except monitor the equipment and wait. This is often the most stressful part of the journey. No one knows what is happening hundreds of feet below the surface. The nets could be filling with thousands of shrimp, or they could be dragging through an area with almost nothing at all. Sometimes the nets become clogged with seaweed or debris. At other times, rough seabeds can tear the mesh, allowing the catch to escape before it ever reaches the boat. The captain constantly watches the vessel's instruments, checking water depth, towing speed, and the tension on the cables. Years of experience helped him read the ocean, but the sea never guarantees success. Every minute feels longer than the last. Finally, the captain gives the signal. It's time to haul the nets. Powerful hydraulic winches begin pulling the heavy cables back toward the surface. The entire crew gathers on deck. In just a few moments, they will discover whether the last hour of work was worth the effort. The shrimp may have been caught, but the journey is far from over. Now begins one of the most demanding stages of the entire operation. As the conveyor belts move continuously, the shrimp pass through a grading machine that separates them into different size categories. Large shrimp are placed in one group, medium-sized shrimp in another. The smallest shrimp are collected separately. This grading process is extremely important because different markets demand different sizes, and the selling price depends heavily on consistency. Once sorted, the shrimp move to the next stage. On many Australian trawlers, they are briefly cooked in hot seawater. This process not only helps preserve the shrimp but also locks in their natural sweetness and gives them their familiar pink color. If the cooking system cannot be used, the crew quickly chills the shrimp in ice-cold salt water to keep them fresh. Speed is everything. The longer the shrimp remain warm, the more their quality begins to decline. Finally, the shrimp enter one of the coldest places on the vessel, the freezing hold. Here, powerful refrigeration systems reduce the temperature to nearly minus 42 degrees Celsius. Within a short time, the shrimp freeze solid, preserving their freshness until the ship returns to port. Every box is carefully stacked inside the storage hold. The catch is now protected. But for the crew, the work is far from finished. The captain gives another order. Prepare the nets. The entire cycle begins again. The ocean can change without warning. A calm, peaceful sea can become a violent storm within minutes. Dark clouds gather overhead. Powerful winds strike the vessel. Towering waves crash against the hull, causing the boat to roll from side to side. But the work doesn't stop. The crew must continue operating heavy machinery while trying to keep their balance on a slippery deck. Every step becomes dangerous. One wrong move can lead to a serious injury. Heavy steel cables remain under enormous tension. If a cable snaps, it can whip across the deck with incredible force. Hydraulic systems operate under extreme pressure, and even a small equipment failure can put lives at risk. The danger doesn't end there. Hours of lifting heavy baskets, pulling nets, and standing on hard steel decks place constant stress on the body. Many experienced fishermen suffer from chronic back pain, shoulder injuries, and damaged joints after years at sea. Sleep deprivation makes the situation even worse. After working through the night, even simple tasks become difficult. Fatigue slows reaction time, reducing concentration and increasing the chance of accidents. Yet, despite all these dangers, the crew keeps going. They trust each other. Every person on board knows that teamwork is the only way to stay safe. Out here, hundreds of kilometers from the nearest shore, there are no shortcuts. Only discipline, experience, and teamwork separate a successful voyage from a disaster. And when the storm finally passes, the captain looks toward the horizon, gives a quiet nod, and prepares for the next haul. Because in the shrimp fishing industry, the ocean never waits. For most people, a job comes with a fixed salary. Shrimp fishing is different. Here, income depends almost entirely on one thing: the size of the catch. A successful voyage can reward the crew with an excellent payday. But if the nets come back nearly empty for several nights, the cost of fuel, food, ice, and vessel maintenance can consume most of the earnings. Every trip is a financial gamble. Sometimes, just when the crew believes they are finally heading home, the captain receives one last instruction. The catch isn't enough yet. The journey continues. Another night, another haul, another test of endurance. Months can pass before some fishermen spend meaningful time with their families again. Yet surprisingly, many of them choose to return season after season. Why? Because life at sea offers something that few jobs can: freedom. Every sunrise over the endless horizon feels different. Every voyage tells a new story. No 2 days on the ocean are ever the same. But perhaps the greatest reward isn't the money. It's the people. Living and working together in such harsh conditions creates friendships that last a lifetime. They celebrate successful catches together. They face storms together. And when one crew member struggles, everyone steps in to help. Over time, the vessel becomes more than a workplace. It becomes a second home. The ocean tests their strength every single day, but it also gives them a sense of purpose that is difficult to find anywhere else.